Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman here, as always, with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, this is a show where you are going to do the dumbest possible thing. You're going to tell us things where you're like, I don't think Jeremiah Smith can do that. I don't see it happening. That guy, I don't know. I think we've seen all that he has to offer. Tony, I'm going to just go ahead and respectfully disagree with you on that one. The last show we did, it was a little too much agreement. And I'm just going to get right out in front of this and say, Jeremiah Smith, I think probably going to do even more this year.
Bold, Tom. That is as bold as any of your bold predictions ever. So, boy, you're right into the spirit of the season. You have not missed a beat. Welcome, everybody, to the Jeremiah Smith Record Watch. And right now, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the new YouTube channel if you have not yet done so here at youtube.com/@Buckeye Insiders. Please do so. Of course, if you want to sign up at our new site at BuckeyeInsiders.com, you can go there now. There's a splash page. Go ahead and throw your email address in there. We'll let you know when things are live there. We've got big plans there, and we'll be rolling out some thoughts and some things on that in the days coming forward. But right now, I want to talk about Jeremiah Smith, and he is on pace for, I don't want to say all of the records. I'll say 94% of the records. And right now we're going to talk about those records, how far away he is. And Tom, I want you to tell me exactly when these records will be broken. And I will remind you, you are under oath.
Always.
And also I will write these down and we will hold you to them. So the first one I want to go to is career receptions, which is 205. That is currently held by Emeka Egbuka. Jeremiah Smith has 163 catches in his career, in his 2 years. He's 42 away. Will Jeremiah Smith break this career record of 205, Tom, in your opinion? And if so, when do you think it's going to happen?
So, yes, I'm going to say he does break the record. And so he needs 42 catches to get there. And I think you've got to bake into this that they are probably going to be a little bit conservative with how much he plays against Ball State or Kent State or someone like that. I think that's going to be, there's enough big games on the schedule that they're going to be a little conservative with those. Mm-hmm. So you're probably looking at maybe the midpoint or a little later than that of the season. And so you get through the first 7 games of the season. They're at the 7th game is at Indiana. That's October 17th. The 8th game, they're at USC. That's October 31st. I'm going to say he breaks that record, 42 catches. I'm going to say he breaks that record at USC October 31st, just a little bit past the halfway mark of the season. That'd be game 8. But, could be about the halfway mark of the entire season, depending on how things go in the postseason.
He will actually break it at Indiana with a game-winning touchdown.
You want to tell us how many yards that's from?
It was 17 yards. 17 yards on that one. Next one is career yards receiving. Right now, 2,898 by Michael Jenkins, who, Tom, got some feedback we did not mention at all in the top 10 players of the Jim Tressel era. And again, that's part of the problem with doing a show like that. But I mean, he is the career receiving yards leader. He led them in receiving yards 3 times, which has only been done once since then. And that was by Philly Brown. But anyway, 2,898 yards is the current mark. Jeremiah Smith has 2,558 yards, meaning he is 340 yards away. He is currently 8th all time. Will he at least tie it at 340 yards this season? And could he possibly surpass it with a 341 yards this season? And third bonus question, will it happen in the same game?
That he both ties and
will it happen in one game?
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good odds that he both ties and surpasses it in the same game. I might even be so bold, Tony, as to say on the same play that happens.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So 340 and some change. I think, again, I think I'm sort of baking in they don't play him a ton in some of the earlier season games. You got to get him out there to get him going, but you also want to keep him fresh because you don't want to have an injury in a game where you're up by 1 million points or anything like that. I'm going to say 340 something yards. I'll say that happens early in the game at Iowa on October 3rd. So that's the 5th game of the season. To me, this is kind of a question of, he's gonna have like 80-ish yards per game on average, and maybe it's a little more in one and maybe it's a little less in others, something like that. But I think you're looking at like the fourth quarter of the Illinois game, if that one's close enough that he's playing in the fourth quarter of that one, or at Iowa on Saturday, October 3rd. I'm going to say that he does it before the hospital wave at Iowa on October 3rd.
Again, you're one game late. He's going to actually do it against Illinois in the black jerseys at night. So, again, surprised you got that one wrong. Here's one. Career touchdown catches. The record is currently 35, and he is at 27 now. He is currently 8th. He's actually 5th, tied for 5th career. He's 8 away. Now, this one is, I'll let you decide, because I believe he's going to do it. I mean, I know that's kind of bold, but Tom, if do you think he breaks that record of 35? He would need 9 to break it, which is something he's done each of his first 2 years. What do you think?
Yes, if he's healthy, he breaks that record relatively comfortably. 9 touchdowns that would rank relatively highly on the list of Ohio State wide receiver season total touchdowns. Just that in and of itself would put him probably in the top 20 or 25 or something like that of Ohio State wide receiver seasons. So yes, he's easily going to do that, I'm expecting. But I think this might be a November thing. I've already picked the USC game for one record. So I'm going to say he really spaces this out, plans this out well, and does this against the Oregon Ducks the week after the USC game, Saturday, November 7. And then still, that's 9, still has several more regular season games and then whatever postseason still to go to get to 15. What do you maybe? Maybe we're going to get to the single season receiving touchdowns record. So we'll wait for that. But Oregon, what do you think?
I'm going Indiana, which is 2 weeks earlier. Again on that game winner from 17 yards out. I think that'll be his 9th touchdown in 7 games, because he's going to have a couple of games where he scores 2. Now he also might have a couple of games where he scores none, which means he's going to have a 3 in there and maybe another 3. So that's a little bit bold, but hey, you know me. I am of the bold prediction show. I am the bold. You are the predictions. I think that's how people view it. Career 100-yard games. The record is 15, and Jeremiah Smith has 11. 4 away. He's currently tied for 3rd all time. Only needs 4. He's done that each of his first years. He had 6 as a true freshman, I believe, and 5 as a sophomore, or vice versa. But he's beaten 4 every year. He's done that, and I fully expect him to get this record this year. But Tom, for one, do you agree? And then also, when will that happen?
Yes, I fully expect him to break this record. The fact that he's only done it, 5 or 6 times, you said, in these other seasons, that I was gonna say maybe earlier, but now I may push it back a little bit more. How about Northwestern, November 14th, at home for him? Because that would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the 10th game. So he needs 5 to break the record because he's 4 behind right now. So we'll say he does it. He puts up 100 yards in every other game. So it takes him till game 10 against Northwestern to get that 5th 100-yard game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm right there, because I don't know what to expect in terms of the 2 easy non-conference games. Do they try to stat pad him early on? I could see them trying to do that against Ball State, or actually certainly against Kent State after, depending on what happens. Does Texas completely shut him down with their defense and all of the triple bracketing that they do? And so you want to get him back going again. So do you feed him a little bit more? Or does he only have 4 catches for 60 yards in both of those games because there's no need for anything more than that? So I think it's okay. Although with what they have, maybe he, what they have in terms of complimenting him at receiver, maybe that means he's going to be busier. And maybe that means he's going to have 100-yard game after 100-yard game. At this point, though, I'm not going to say you're crazy about the Northwestern. I think you're wrong and crazy about the others. I don't think this one's so crazy. So I will tentatively agree until you are wrong, and then I will tell you you are wrong. This one, Tom, now we're going to most receptions in a season, which was 95 by Jackson Smith and Jigba in 2021, I believe. Yes. Jeremiah had 87 this past year, and that was in 14 games. Now imagine 16 games, and 95 is absolutely on the table, especially when you're talking about wanting to do more quick passes. So I could see multiple games where he's got 9 to 12 catches because that's just part of the offense now. So this one's tough to me.
Yeah, this is one where you said that number and I'm like, well, okay, finally I get to say no chance, absolutely not. And then for him to have 87 last year, not only in 14 games, but in 14 games where he was banged up.
13.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't play.
One.
Yeah, he didn't play in one and missed time in another. And so, yeah, I think the tough part about this is projecting, okay, you don't have Carnell Tate on the other side. So does that mean that you're getting so much more attention from the opposing defense that it's harder to get the ball to you? Or does that mean that you don't have Carnell Tate on the other side? So of course they're going to throw you the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
The answer might be, yes, it's both of those. So then what do you do with that? And I was so sure I was going no with this one, but for it to have 87 last year in 13 games, and he didn't even play the entirety of those 13 games, I feel reasonably comfortable saying they're going to play at least 13 games this season, and quite possibly several more than that. So, if they miss the playoff, then he sits out the, if they miss the Big Ten championship game and they miss the playoff, then he sits out the non-playoff bowl game. So, okay, that's the only way he doesn't have 13. Other than that, I think if he's healthy, he's going to have 14, 15, maybe 16 games this season. I think they're certainly at least in that conversation to be a team we're talking about on January 20, whatever it is, this upcoming season. So I'm going to say over, and I'm going to say over against, now I got to look up the college football playoff. Yeah, how about this, Tony? I'm going to say over in the college football playoff semifinal. Why don't you, let's see, where are the college football playoff games this upcoming season?
Against whom?
Isn't that a great question? You look up where the semifinals are, and I will puzzle through who he does that against. I'm going to say he does that against the Georgia Bulldogs this upcoming season in the college football playoff semifinals.
The semifinals, they are January 14th and January 15th. And is that what you wanted to know?
I was hoping for locations, but, dates are fine too.
Same. And it's just with all of these dates. Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl.
Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl. Well, they're going to be, I'm going to say they do it against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl because Georgia is I forget how they do the rankings this year. I got to talk to Rich Parker again, or Rich Thompson again, to figure out what exactly the seeding path is, because they changed it. Once again, Tony, they have changed the format of the college football playoff. I'm sure everyone's thrilled to know that. But yeah, I will say in the Sugar Bowl, in the college football playoff semifinal against the Georgia Bulldogs. Do you need to know a quarter, or is that sufficient? Enough detail?
It's in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia with the lead pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
So, okay. All right. It's crazy because he averaged 6.7 yards or 6.7 catches per game last year. if he plays that 14 games last year and gets that 7 catches, he's 1 catch away from tying the record last year. So it's crazy to say, yeah, he's going over that, but I don't think the math can let you say anything else. The math says, yes, he's going to go over it. Common sense kind of makes you hedge a little, but yeah, I'm with you. I think he's going over. Then, which takes us to, if he did go over, say he had 96 catches, with his average yards per catch in his career, he'd still be 100 yards shy of what Jackson Smith and Jigba did, which was 1,606 yards. And that is the school record. Jeremiah Smith's 1,315 as a true freshman were good for 4th, or either last year or true freshman. He's only played 2 years. That's currently his best. It's currently good for 4th. Do you think he could get to 1,606 or possibly even break it?
I'm going to say no, because even if it's 16, even if they play 16 games and you average 100 yards, I mean, you have to average 100 yards a game. And that's just, earlier on, we're talking about, he's going to hit 5 100-yard games in his first games. You're just, unless you have a Jackson Smith and Jigba Rose Bowl kind of game, it just, you really have to just be so consistent. And I'm going to say he does not do this. And there's so many ways this cannot happen. If they only play 13 or 14 games, that would be asking a lot for that to happen in 13 or 14 games. If he gets hurt even a little bit where they have listen, we're playing a very hard schedule, and let's see, Saturday, October 10th, you've got the trip to Indiana on deck. And he's just a little something going on with fill in the blank, and it's Maryland, and they're going to be a 30 whatever point favorite against Maryland. Just sit it out. You've got Indiana on deck. You've got USC and Oregon immediately after that. There's no reason to rush him out there and have him play if he's not 100%. So I just think there's a lot of different ways this could not end up happening. And so I will say no there.
Yeah, and I think with the shorter passing game, that might lead to a dip in that 15.7 yards per catch. And we've seen him, I think he was up around 16 or 17 as a true freshman. He's got that potential, obviously, but I think 1606 is going to stand. Last one, Tom, touchdown catches in the season, currently 17, held by Terry Glenn. Jeremiah Smith had 15 as a true freshman. That's the second most all time in a season. Do you think he gets to 17 or possibly 18 this year, which sounds insane, except he almost did it already.
Right. That's the thing. He almost did it already, and he almost did it as a true freshman, and he did have 16 games to do it in that year. And so you're adding a lot of expectation there. And boy, he's going to have a very, very good quarterback this year. Will Howard played a fantastic season in 2024. Man, I have very high expectations for Julian Sayin this year. I think there's very clearly Jeremiah Smith is going to be the first option on a whole lot of plays for Julian Sayin. It's just a question of how much is the opposing defense going to know that and take him away and do everything they can to take him away and do the, okay, we will take Michael Jordan, someone else beat us approach to things. I'm going to say no on this one as well. I think this one is a lot more of a deliberation than the yardage is. It just feels like he absolutely could do this. You could very easily, he puts up 3 touchdowns against Ball State in week 1, and I'm wrong about how they're using him, or they want to just get the big splash. And then congratulations, you're almost 20% of the way there in week 1. That's entirely possible he could do that. And this is a team that it is entirely possible this team could play 15, 16 games, and then you just need to average a touchdown a week and then have a couple twos. So this is easily within reach. I'm just going to say, again, I think there's enough different ways that this could not happen that I'm going to side with a no, but I'm going to do it a little more reluctantly than I did on the yardage.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going no here. This is also, Terry Glenn did this, and he played 12 games that season, but he had 17 after 11 through the regular season. he missed a game, I think, in there and still had those 17. He was incredible that year. A couple of others, just we can mention 1,000-yard seasons. He's tied for career lead. Jeremiah is with 2. I expect him to be the only guy to have 3 1,000-yard seasons after the season. Right now, he's with the Mecca Ibuka and Marvin Harrison. And the receiving yards in the game, he's still 160 yards. His best game is still 160 yards away from Jackson Smith and Jigba's Rose Bowl, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. But they do play a Kyle Whittingham team this year, so maybe.
Facts. And we'll see what running back they throw out there at corner to try to defend Jeremiah Smith. Here's a hint. Don't. He's already first all time in average receptions per game in his career at 5.6, which I would expect to continue. But consecutive 100-yard games is 5. That's the current record. He's only done it 2. I don't know that he'll get to 5. Certainly he could, but it's just interesting to me that he's never done it 3 games in a row. He will not get, Tom, the consecutive games with the reception. That is KJ Hill at 48. Jeremiah Smith has 29. He's had a catch in every game that he's played in his career. So there you go.
Unless he comes back for the 2027 season. Tony, what do you think? Is he going to be back for the 2027 season?
Well, what does Ohio State's NIL budget look like at that point? No, Tom, he will not be back. Unfortunately, this is going to be the last year that you Ohio State fans are going to get, and us as well, will get to enjoy Jeremiah Smith, because it has been fun watching him. And we're not wishing away the summer and get to the season. But when you think back of all the players that we've gotten to watch at Ohio State, watching him in person in practice has been really, really fun. So if you're watching, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so. If you're listening and want to watch, you can find us at youtube.com/@Buckeye Insiders. You can also get some heads up on what's going on with our new venture at BuckeyeInsiders.com. Go there, sign up. We'll send you some information once once things are live. So we are here. We're going to be here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Everything that you know about us is still here. We're going to be covering the games, talking to players. All of that stuff that you've been watching for years will continue on here. So please sign up, 5-star rating and review on the audio side, thumbs up here. And of course, tell your family, tell your friends. As always, I know you do. We appreciate it. That will do it from here. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you all later.